Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR. Today, I'm the man they call Meathead, talking on a Thursday morning with 52E1414B7A2B459C, whoever the hell that is, but I call him Matthew. Good morning, Matthew.
That's got a nice little ring to it. You know, it just kind of rolls off the tip of your tongue.
Get that as your Twitter handle now.
That's right. That's right. Good morning, Meathead. Happy post-Dynamite morning to you.
That is a Dynamite name for sure. Speaking of Dynamite, who's our Dynamite sponsor?
That would be Collar and Elbow. They are the maker of fine articles of clothing that's available exclusively at collarandelbowbrand.com. Head on over there and get you the new Hawaii shirt, the new Hawaiian shirt that's available exclusively on that website. And if you enter promo code Linda K, LINDAKAY, you can save yourself a big chunk of 10% off.
You know what my favorite wrestling name that was Hawaiian was? Kimono Wanalemi.
Interesting. That's got a that I don't, but that's got a ring to it, kind of like the intro you gave me with my new username.
Kimono Wanalemi was a WCW valet that used to spend some time in ECW.
Interesting.
I interviewed her on the exact same day that the PWR interviewed Roddy Piper.
Oh, my goodness.
At the Panther Arena, formerly known as the Mecca.
Interesting. On this day in PWR history.
That's right. On this day, I see clearly that we're going to talk about some news here. First off, it's NXT news, and I don't know how you're going to receive this. I don't know how the listeners or the people reading this on the interwebs are going to receive this. The new NXT brand, when they rebrand in a couple weeks, will be produced exclusively by Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard.
That's about the opposite of what NXT is supposed to be, isn't it?
Yeah. I understand Vince is the boss, right? Vince is the owner, the creator of the WWE that we know, right? His dad created WWF. However, Vince McMahon is the be-all, end-all. It ends at Vince, okay? And Vince's go-to man, his yes man, Bruce Pritchard. Nothing against Bruce, right? But this is not what we want. NXT, for us, was the alternative to WWE programming under a WWE umbrella. If we continue to get a Raw and SmackDown now with NXT people, we're not going to watch. You literally are driving more people away than you're bringing in.
Yeah, I don't think that there is. I mean, where is that groundswell of people saying, hey, we need NXT to be more like the main roster? We need it to have more main roster influence. And that's astounding. And I go back to us talking about, how it looked like they were potentially getting ready to get the company for sale. Now we've got Vince bearing down to the extent that he's going to be overseeing NXT. Oh my goodness, man. I don't know if that company's getting sold anytime soon.
I don't know, but the word is the NXT is supposed to be like the old NXT moving forward, which was, at the peak between 2015 and 2018, which would have been right before they hit on USA. If that's the case, I'd be okay with that NXT. The NXT that we got from 2015 through 2018 was a good show.
Or maybe we go back prior to that. Maybe we go back to Daniel Bryan racing with kegs.
Oh, not that NXT. Please, no.
Maybe we go back to fun contest, Meathead.
Oh, no. No. Who won season 2 of NXT, by the way? You can name season 1, but who won season 2? I'll give you a hint.
Wasn't Barrett? Was it? No. Yes. I know who you're talking about, man. Why can't I think of his name? I can picture.
Think of his WWE name or his Impact name, or
I can't think of.
Loki.
Yeah.
Loki and TNA/Impact.
Mm-hmm.
He won season 2. Season 1 was won by.
Here's
another hint. He's currently on NXT. He's the color commentator.
Oh my goodness.
Wade Barrett.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. It was Barrett, wasn't it?
And Wade Barrett was the winner of NXT, therefore making the Nexus.
Yes, yes. Oh, and that's really not that. We're talking what, 2010?
Roughly around there, yeah. Somewhere in that neighborhood. That was also when the Nexus was made. That was Daniel Bryan's last day as a WWE superstar for a few weeks.
Yeah, he got a little carried away with some neck
choking
apparel,
out the dapper yapper.
I mean, it happens sometimes,
Yeah. The new logo for NXT it looks like ink blots in a rainbow color. I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Yeah, and I just got to wonder, like, what are you going for with rebranding at this point? And when I say rebranding, I'm referencing the logo. What are we going to accomplish?
Now, we're very pessimistic when we're talking about this. We'll have to wait and see what it is. This coming Tuesday on NXT will be the final in the old brand. I liked the heavy metal look that they had. If it becomes a hip-hop show, I'm done. We'll talk about it, but I'm not watching it for enjoyment. Because
so we're still going to be taking place at the same venue, right?
Possibly. Capitol Wrestling Center. Who knows? But I'll be completely honest with you. There was you guys know this from following me on Twitter and hearing me talk. I'm a big Madden football player. Been playing it since the game came out. A tweet that came out by them 2-3 weeks ago said, "Oh, that Madden EA Tracks soundtrack is on fire." No, it's not. You talk about inclusion, and you've had nothing but hip hop on it for 10 years. I haven't listened to a song in that game for 10 years that I've liked. Not everybody listens to hip hop.
Let me ask you this. I mean, we're at a point where I think the reason this is happening is they lost the Wednesday night war, so to speak. And I don't think Vince knows how to handle it. I mean, this was a loss. They were dealt a loss by AEW. If we want to talk about them going head to head, NXT versus AEW,
and it wasn't even a battle. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, and so this is them going.
Here's the thing: they didn't intend to have a battle. They just chose Wednesday. NXT and WWE chose to launch their show on Wednesday ahead of them.
And here's where I think the short-sightedness is. And I still go back to the fact that putting NXT on Wednesdays was to set up NXT against AEW so that AEW is not competition for your main roster. AEW is competition for your main roster. AEW is putting on, in my opinion, a substantially better product than any main roster WWE product at this moment. And I think that's where you go into the short-sightedness of the WWE. They're trying to course correct. They're trying to put the vice grips on NXT now because they lost that head-to-head. And where that concern needs to ultimately be is, the main product, your Raw, your SmackDown, in addition to your NXT. If there's anything that is that probably needs to not be tweaked, it's most likely NXT at this point. But again, you're bearing down on that programming.
It's like you're blaming NXT for losing against the company. That they weren't supposed to go head to head with.
And again, we're going to get into it in the recap, but look at the energy in the building of any of your AEW shows. Look at the energy in your building to any of your WWE shows. It's night and day.
Let's talk one more note WWE-wise, and then we'll move on to Dynamite. WrestleMania 38 allegedly is going to be 2 nights as well for the 3rd year in a row. WrestleMania would be 2 nights. This would be the first one in front of a full house. I understand why the company would do this. They figure they can sell out 2 nights of WrestleMania instead of 1. However, why are you making people choose? Because who's to say when the matches are going to be? And what if I wanted a match that's on the other night that I didn't get tickets to? Well, you're really alienating your fan base.
And you really make getting the tickets and planning for the event a lot tougher. You really do. And we're getting into a building. I mean, first year of 2-night WrestleMania was 2 years ago in the Performance Center, and that was the strange situation that it was. This past year, a little bit more normal.
2 cinematic matches with that as well.
Yeah, but it's was the strange situation because you're limited with the amount of people you can put there. We're talking full capacity WrestleManias now. I mean, you're planning on moving 200,000 tickets now.
Come on, man. And again, it's Dallas, so it's obviously the AT&T, stadium in Arlington. So, while we're talking about this, if this becomes official, I mean, really, the people will be coming into Dallas. They might just find a different party to go to over the weekend. And then you're making people pick and choose. See the matches, don't see the matches. Friend from Big D, I hope you got enough room because I'm coming over.
Fantastic. How big of a place does he have?
Oh, I have no idea if it's a 1-bedroom apartment or a 10-bedroom palatial estate. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, we can make a studio work or, whatever.
I mean, we got to have enough room to record that night, right?
Yeah. Well, I imagine he's got ample resources.
I think we can get it done. All right. Let's go into Dynamite here real quick. Last night on Dynamite, the 100th episode from Hoffman Estates in Illinois at the Now Arena. Like I had mentioned before, I've been in the Now building, Chicago, obviously representing well. I like how AEW kind of protected Punk. Punk's over, right? Punk's over across the country, across the world. Punk is over, but they made sure it looked good, and they made sure he was over by putting him in a Chicago, then Milwaukee, then Chicago fan base.
Yeah. No, that's really, that's a really good point. I mean, you premiere him, and honestly, when we talk about a show with its live TV audience, perceptions, reality, and you see this guy coming out to just insane applause in his first 3 or 4 shows. I mean, that's going to be the perception that would not follow him around the country.
Right. If he would have done it in Bismarck, South Dakota, he probably would have got a great reception as well. But they made sure that he got the best reception.
Yeah. Well, we need to maybe 2022. That's when AEW does their Dakotas run.
Gotcha. They'll have to run through. Maybe they'll run a show, at the what's the thing called in North Dakota now?
The thing in North Dakota.
Oh, with the president's heads.
Oh, that's South Dakota, I think, isn't it?
South Dakota, North Dakota. It's the Dakota.
No,
I don't really
it's
care.
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Maybe they rock a show in Mount Rushmore. Maybe they go to Sturgis.
Yeah. So there's a nostalgia factor there that really entices me. But then there is you talk about an opposite crowd of which you've got in Chicago, a bunch of people sitting on their hands and just revving their bikes. I don't know that the nostalgia would, but here's the thing. It might all be worth it for Tony Schiavone to come out in some hog wild era cutoff denim, man.
Mike Tenay in leather.
I mean, there's that picture that's made the round of Tenay, Tony, and Dusty. I mean, it's just priceless, man.
All right, let's talk about the matches from last night. FTR, the return of Cash Wheeler. And Tully Blanchard, FTR Wrestling, Santana and Ortiz. This is a tough match to watch because as you watch it, AEW has me at the point of who am I rooting for?
Yeah.
I want to tell you that it happens in WWE and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
AEW had me watching this match going, ooh, who am I pulling for? I think I want Santana Ortiz to win this one. Santana Ortiz with a win. I love how they come out for big matches in their Dead Presidents makeup. Tell me what you thought.
Well, dude, I mean, you just really convinced me into having this match, a rematch, take place at Mount Rushmore. You mentioned they got their Dead Presidents makeup on. You could have
the white face paint and the black eyes.
Hey, it wouldn't be FDR on Mount Rushmore, but you could have FTR on Mount Rushmore. All the fun you could have. No, and let me ask you this. You really don't have a ton of, and I know we haven't seen them in a while, but there's not a ton of discussion with FTR and Pinnacle anymore, is it?
There's not any Pinnacle discussion recently.
Yeah, I mean, it's just MJF doing his thing.
MJF doing his thing. You've got, FTR doing their thing. And then you've got MJF doesn't even have Wardlow around at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. And
but that can all come back with no problem. And we wouldn't skip a beat.
Yeah, it's interesting though when they've done it well because it seemed to kind of flow very synergistically. It's not anything. There's no big barbershop window breakup or anything.
Right.
You don't necessarily. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to reference the stable.
Right. All right. So oddly placed was CM Punk 30 minutes into the show. The good news is, and AEW really knocked us out of the park on this one. Again, I'm not here kissing anybody's ass, but AEW said, don't worry, we are going to have CM Punk coming up next right after this. So, okay, perfect. They said exactly when he's going to be there because it wasn't top of the hour, bottom of the hour, top of the hour or end of the show. Here's when CM Punk's coming on. I think they got TNT whispering in their ears, but it's working.
And Dynamite is not as easy to predict and program as WWE. You are so conditioned with WWE top of the hour, halfway through, main event segment. You're having stuff going on at the 30-minute mark. I mean, I think they are making a deliberate effort to not have you
TV.
Yeah, not just have your must-see segments at the beginning, at the middle, or the end, and I like it.
I'm going to nitpick here. I'm poking holes in it. The only problem I had with the whole CM Punk, Darby Allin, Sting promo, and the little promo beforehand with Daniel Garcia and the 2.0, should we have gotten GTS before the pay-per-view?
I can see the argument against it. I'm glad we actually got to see Punk in some physicality. I think that was.
He didn't touch Darby Allin.
Yeah, he didn't touch Darby. We got to see him physical, with some other folks. You can make a case.
It's a thin case.
Yeah.
I'm nitpicking, right?
Yeah.
It's a thin case, but we got to see him get physical and go to sleep. So he did it, but it wasn't on Darby, and then they talked after.
We'll say the face-to-face with Darby looked good, and something that's gotten lost in all of this, at least with me, that was evident last night. It's kind of cool seeing Punk in a ring with Sting as well.
Sting called it out. He goes, "Look, I've been watching you. I've always wanted our paths to cross, and never did until right now."
Yeah.
And, even in the Darby Allin promo where he says, Punk says that 15-year-old Punk would have been a big fan of Darby Allin. Darby Allin was a 15-year-old big fan of Punk. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's mutual respect there, but they're gonna do what they got to do. 100%. Let's talk about them side by side here. Shivani interviewed MJF. Jim Ross interviewed Chris Jericho. We were already buying the match. I'm okay with them reselling it one more time, but I didn't think we moved the needle any.
No. And I mean, you got to keep in mind too, this was, and here's the thing with AEW is they still get business done on go home shows. They move the needle in a lot of other storylines and people that aren't necessarily on the card. So you've still got upward momentum for a lot. So, a little bit of putting stuff in a neat package here. I didn't mind. I really liked the video montage of MJF and Jericho. And as much as I wasn't a fan of the Nick Gage stuff, the few segments they had in that video montage where you slowed it down.
It fit in there well.
Yeah, it fit in there well. And man, I can't help but wonder, it's a lot of options as far as what can main event on Sunday night, but the time and the attention that MJF and Jericho got, it would not surprise me if that does not end up being your main event on Sunday night.
Okay. Jack Evans and Orange Cassidy with the win. Matt Hardy just keeps going after Orange Cassidy. Here comes the HFO. It's Cassidy, Taylor, Yuta, everybody back there. Jurassic Express ran to the ring and made the save. You know what I really liked that it wasn't on my radar at all, was the conflicting promos between Miro and Eddie Kingston. Eddie, this guy's got to talk in the mic more.
Yeah, no. Eddie's great on the mic. And I think he and Miro match up, really well. This is probably the most believable.
It's a match I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah. That Miro's had. I think Miro Lance Archer if they milked that for a little while longer and that was not as rushed as it was. That could have been a great program, but I think this is this is really a solid matchup here.
Very quickly, but I got to tell you how cool I thought this line was. Malachi Black is talking about Lee Johnson. He says, "When I'm done with you, I'll place 2 coins, one on each of your eyes. So when I send you back to Hades, you can pay the boatman's toll." Holy smokes. That one gave me chills.
Well, see the previous comment about AEW getting business done on stuff that doesn't necessarily involve selling their pay-per-view for this weekend. Malachi Black, I think you can make a case, one of the top 5, one of the guys in the company, probably top 5 that has the most upward momentum right now, not on the pay-per-view, but you are still progressing his storyline. I really like that because it's so different than, WWE's typical formula. I mean, you look at
there's 3-4 segments a night in on like 4 stories.
Yeah, it. and then I mean, say when a WWE pay-per-view, when that card is set, I mean, there's not that depth of a roster right now where you're progressing anything. I mean, you're basically featuring your talent that's going to be in the pay-per-view in a various combination of tag matches. We got at least, I'd say, 50% of the show last night where you are progressing storylines that, again, doesn't involve selling your pay-per-view. I think it really speaks to the depth of their roster and just getting good business done.
This one does have something to do with the pay-per-view. QT Marshall is going to have a match with Paul White. By the way, Matthew, I know you're a big Milwaukee Brewers fan. If you want, go ahead and bid on that Paul White worn jersey when he threw out the first pitch. Thank you to the city of Milwaukee. All proceeds going to the Brewers Charitable Foundation. I have a bone to pick again here. So Billy Gunn hits Paul White with the chair on the surgically replaced hip. Instantly, I hear Tony Schiavone or Excalibur and his 2 bastard sons.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything.
I know. I think it's Schiavone. And Schiavone's got a habit of that recently, man. Like, Schiavone will
He sold it in advance. What did they do?
And he's nowhere close to an objective journalist at this point. I mean, the sit-down interview with MJF talking about how much he despised him, to me, it is not. It's not a great trait right now. I don't. I think you still need to play it a little bit straighter as an analyst. And when you're going in,
and I love Tony Schiavone. He's got the old man adage of, you know what, I farted. That's right. What are you going to do about it? I'm old. He's going to say what he wants to say because he's done what he's done in the business. It's okay.
And it is, I guess the thing of it is, like, you've got your heel commentators where they are immediately trying to see the heel's point of view, and you've got your face commentators. Schiavone at this point is going almost like a heel would, but for a baby face. Like, he is, he offensively,
and not just for Paul White, because Paul White is his friend and partner.
Yeah, but Paul White, MJF, but you're right. I mean, he immediately went after the kids in the Gun Club, which, by the way, that was something that I did not see coming, and I really liked it. I mean, it was a nice, kind of surprise out of nowhere. And my goodness, I'm so glad to see QT Marshall getting himself a pay-per-view match. And we had
seen the Gun Club thing. Nobody saw that.
Nope. But I liked it.
Okay. Penelope Ford and Tay Conte. It was okay. Really, what the news here is Anna Jay from the Dark Order has returned. She'll be in the women's match. By the way, that women's Casino Battle Royal is a pre-show match, so that will be on the buy-in. I do want to mention, I kind of skipped over it here. Britt Baker, DMD, mentions that Rebel and Jamie Hayter will be in that pre-show match, and she says, there was a big free agent signing, and she alludes to herself. That's a diversion. It's a deke. There's going to be a big free agent, I believe, female showing up on Sunday.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that kind of leads you into potentially Ruby Riott winning the Battle Royal.
Soho now.
Or I'll just say Ruby.
Okay, so Ruby. Yeah, I think that's Ruby for Sunday.
I think
All right. The main event was an 8-man tag. It was Jurassic Express and Lucha Brothers, Penta Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix. Jurassic Express was Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Taking on the Elite, which was Matt and Nick. The Good Brothers, Doc and Carl, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick. Boy, oh boy, I'm bad at what I do here. It was an 8-man tag, 4-on-4. What color is Kenny's hair now?
Jet
black with dark, like blue.
It was. I think it's as black as you can dye your hair.
It's funny. I need to see that on Rampage when we come up on Friday tomorrow night, because they turned off the show and they were still, Kenny's just still running at the mouth beating.
Yeah. I didn't know if my DVR got it a little bit, didn't go as long as the show did or what, but yeah, it kind of abruptly ended right there. But
I'm okay with it.
It took me about 2 years, but I think last night I finally kind of got Jurassic Express a little bit.
Okay, explain.
Combination of the music, the audience's response to the music, and I think it was, and I've always been a big Jungle Boy fan. I've never quite, because when I found out that Luchasaurus wasn't a real dinosaur, I got to admit I was a little upset. I mean, I can only suspend my disbelief so much, but you know what? The actual visual of the music. And even with Marco's stunt running all around, I kind of got the package.
The one that made it up the cage.
Yeah, I kind of got the package as a whole.
Okay, all right. Well, that is AEW Dynamite. We got more news that we're just going to get to today. We'll get to it tomorrow morning. But for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.